All right, AP Macro students. We're on goal number 3. Remember, goal number 1 is to grow the economy, and goal number 2 was to limit unemployment. Goal number 3 is limit inflation. So what is inflation? It's a rise in the general level of prices. It reduces the purchasing power of money. So if prices are higher, you're going to buy less, and so you have a lower purchasing power. When inflation occurs, each dollar of income will buy fewer goods. So in general, ramped inflation, inflation that goes up really high, really fast, is bad because banks don't lend and people don't save. And that will decrease investment, which is business spending, and that will lower GDP because of that. So, a couple other words you need to know. Deflation is a decrease in general prices or a negative inflation rate. It has happened in the past, but it's been a while. Deflation is bad because people will hoard money or financial assets, and this will decrease consumer spending, and that will decrease GDP. And then the last one, disinflation, is prices increasing at a slower rate. So it's still inflation, but it's slower than normal. So, inflation is good for some people and it's bad for some people. You need to know who it's good for and who it's bad for. So, the effects of unanticipated inflation. So, people that are hurt by inflation are lenders, people who lend money at a fixed rate, because if they lend you money at a fixed interest rate, they're not going to get as much back as in real purchasing power dollars if there's a lot of inflation happening. And then people with fixed incomes, if they're getting the same paycheck every month and prices go up, that paycheck isn't going to go as far. And then savers, people who save money are going to be hurt by inflation because the dollars that they saved in 2000 aren't going to be worth as much in 2018. People that are helped by unexpected inflation are borrowers, people who borrow money. When they pay back their loans, they're not paying it back with the same real dollars that they got in return, so they're going to be helped out. And businesses where the price of the product increases faster than the price of the resources. So lenders, people with fixed income and savers are hurt by inflation, and borrowers are helped by inflation. A couple words you need to know. Nominal wage. Nominal just means not adjusted for inflation. So a nominal wage is wages measured in dollars rather than in purchasing power. And real wage is wages adjusted for inflation. If there is inflation, you must ask your boss for a COLA raise, which means cost of living adjustment, which is a raise, because you're going to need more money because the prices are higher. All right, how is inflation measured? If the government's supposed to limit inflation, how do they measure it so that they know what the numbers are? The government tracks the prices of specific market baskets that include the same goods and services. There are 2 ways to look at inflation over time. So there's the inflation rate, which is the percent change in prices from year to year. That's that same formula, year 2 minus year 1 divided by year 1 times 100. And you can see what the prices are in the basket in 2017 compared to what the prices are in the basket in 2018. And then there's also these things called price indices or price index. There is the CPI, Consumer Price Index, and there's the GDP deflator price index. These are numbers that are assigned to each year that show how prices have changed relative to a specific base year. So we take these market baskets. The government chooses products to put in a basket. You know, when you go to the grocery store and you put stuff in your cart, and then when you go to the checkout and you're given your total of what you owe and you have to pay it, that's the price of your market basket or your market cart. The government's doing that same thing with an imaginary basket where they're putting all kinds of items in it. Pencils, cell phones, whiteboard markers, cars, whatever thing they can think about. There's thousands of items in this basket. And then they just track the prices in that basket from year to year to year. And they use that basket to come with inflation rates and price indexes. So, for example, the inflation rate in 2017 was 0.8%. What that means is from 2016 to 2017, general prices went up 0.8%. And then the consumer price index is a number. So for 2017, it was 235, and the base year was 1982. That means that prices have increased 135% since 1982. So instead of having that percent, you're using this index number to show how the dollars have changed. All right, the most commonly used measure of inflation for consumers is the Consumer Price Index, which is the CPI. Here's how it works. The base year is given as an index of 100. And to compare each year is given an index number as well. So you use this price to get the number. So you have the CPI equals the price of the market basket in whatever year you're looking for, divided by the price of the market basket in the base year times 100. So if we use this basket here as an example, in 1996, in the basket there was one movie and one pizza. The movie cost $6 and the pizza cost $14. So the price of the basket, the one movie and the one pizza, total was 20 bucks. That's the base year, 1996. So we're gonna do 20 divided by 20 times 100. The base year is always 100 because any number times itself is 1, you times it by 100, that's 100. Then in 2018, we got the same market basket, one movie, one pizza, with different prices. One movie is $12, one pizza is $18. You add that together, it equals 30. So the price of the market basket was 30. And in order to get the index number, you take the price of the market basket, $30, divided by the price of the market basket in the base year, which was 1996, was $20. 30 divided by 20 times 100 comes out to 150. So what we're saying is that inflation increased by 50% from 96 to 2018. Or in other words, whatever cost $100 in 1996 now costs $150 in 2018. So that's what an index number is. It's not a percentage, it's just a number comparing dollars, whatever $100 was in the base year to what it is there in this year. All right, there are a couple problems with CPI or criticisms that people have. So it's not perfect again when you're taking subjective behavior and trying to objectify it. There's going to be some problems with it. So with CPI, problems are the substitution bias. In the market basket, there's a certain fixed number of items, products that the government's chosen. And if the prices go up for those products, people could go and buy a different kind of product that was similar. We call it a substitute, that might not be in the basket. And if that's the case, CPI may be higher than what consumers are really paying. So we call that substitution bias. The other thing is new products. CPI market basket may not include the newest consumer products. If the base year is 1982 and we got a bunch of products in there from 1982, there's a ton of items that we buy now that are not in that basket. Maybe cell phones aren't in there because we didn't have them in 1982. So you're going to have problems with the new products not being included and the price is not reflecting that. And then the last thing is product quality. CPI ignores both improvements and decline in product quality. So what I mean is that CPI may suggest that prices stay the same even though the economic well-being has improved significantly. Like the price of something is the same, but we figured out how to make the quality better, so it doesn't really show in CPI. And then the other common index number that we use is GDP deflator. And it's very similar to CPI, except the market basket isn't just this basket of consumer products, it's all of GDP, C plus I plus G plus XN. So the deflator is another index that measures the prices of all goods. CPI only measures prices of goods and services bought by consumers, but GDP is measuring goods that are bought by consumers, by the government, and by businesses. So the formula for that is GDP deflator equals nominal GDP divided by real GDP times 100. So it's basically the same formula as CPI, because nominal GDP is the price of the market basket in the year you're looking for, the price of everything that was all the spending in the year you're looking for, divided by the real GDP, which is the price of the market basket in the base year. All of the stuff that was bought and paid for in the base year and the prices, times 100. So an increase in the prices of goods bought by firms or the government shows up in the deflator, but not in CPI. The deflator includes only those goods and services produced domestically though, because it's all GDP, things that are made in this country. Imported goods, Nintendo, Honda, are not going to be part of GDP. So that's one thing to note. And then, just as an example, if nominal GDP in 2009 was 25 and the real GDP in 2009 was 20, how do we figure out the deflator? So you put nominal, 25, over real, 20 times 100, comes out to 125. So we're saying that the GDP deflator in 2009 was 125. So we're saying that whatever cost $100 in the base year now costs $125. That's it for part 1 of inflation.